Hey everybody, thanks for checking out another video review of an iPhone 4 case here. Today we're going to be reviewing the Exo 6 from Exovault.com. They did send me a case to review on a loaner basis. Before I start showing you the case, I do just want to point out that I was told that these cases, or this case they sent me, is a second. This is not a case they would send to a customer due to whatever flaws that they may have found in the case. I looked it over, I didn't really see anything wrong with it, but that is what I was told. So this is the Exo 6. I'm going to back up a little so you can get a good look at it. Take away the back piece there. Okay, and it's pretty thick aluminum here, as you can see. It's actually very sturdy. It doesn't look all that like it's all that much, but I can't bend it at all. And here is the back plate. Alright, now the way this thing is going to connect, once we go to put the phone into it, you can see in the four corners are going to be hex screws. Okay. First impression, it's a nice smooth case. The aluminum doesn't seem to have any imperfections to me, even though they told me this was a factory second. Nice looking case, very simple form factor. Cut out for the button, cut out for the speaker, and then one larger cutout for the camera and flash. Before I put it on the phone, I'm just going to show you. The sides are open, as is the bottom. It looks like that'll fit most dock adapters, and the top is also wide open, so there won't be any issues with reaching the power button, no issues reaching the vibrator ring button. Overall a pretty intelligent design, I would say. By now, as you guys know, I'm going to start off by turning off my Wi-Fi and then doing a speed test on this thing. So let's go ahead and kill Wi-Fi here. And I'll just show Wi-Fi is off. I currently have between 1 and 2 bars depending on where I'm holding the phone. But again, this is where I live. This is why I'm doing these reviews, because people really should know how these things perform when they're not in an ideal situation. I'm now fluctuating up to 3 bars, so I'm kind of flipping all over the place. But okay, so we've got speed test loaded up here. At some point I'll get used to moving the opposite direction. I want the thing to go on camera. So we start the test, and we pick 3G, and we're going to let it roll. And as usual, I'm going to get some pretty good download speeds and some very mediocre at best upload speeds as I fluctuate between 1 and 3 bars. 1421 average download, 316 average upload. So I'll show you that so you don't have to take my word for it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and assemble the case now. So here's the back plate. Phone sits nicely on the tray here. I'm going to set this down, see if I can angle my camera so you can look at it. Okay. And the top piece is literally just going to sit right on top there. And I'm going to have to put the camera back up to grab the screws. Okay. So let's zip these guys in there real quick. As I've shown the screws with the other reviews I've done, sort of a cross between the Atomic and the Illumicase. It's not as hefty as those really long Illumicase screws, but certainly thicker than the small screws used in the Atomic. I'm going to use the included hex wrench. And one thing that sort of concerned me looking at the design of this particular case. I admit I was I'm a little hesitant to put a piece of metal on top of my phone and below my phone and then screw them together and crank on the screws. That just to me seems like a poor idea, but the way that it's assembled, there's really no chance of doing any damage to the phone itself. So that's a good thing. Alright, there's two. Two more to go. This particular case has been talked about a whole lot on the forums as one of the better looking cases out there. The look is not one that I particularly care for, which is not to say it's a bad case. Just, not my style. I prefer the frame style cases like the Atomic, the Vapor. Not that I've gotten my hands on one of those yet. Alright, so here we have the Exo 6 installed. I'm just going to put the screen to sleep there so you can actually see it. Okay. Nice looking, simple style from the front. Side is nice and wide open. SIM tray side also wide open. You can see the bottom, the speakers, and the dock connector are clearly accessible, as are the headphone jack and the sleep/power button, which is nice to see. One thing I do notice, because of the way this is assembled, the home button is a little recessed, so it feels a little awkward to press. Nothing that is terribly upsetting. I would imagine I'd get used to it if I kept the case on there for any length of time. I am currently showing 1 bar, same as I was with the case off. Now it had fluctuated a moment ago again to 2, 3 bars, but let's give this a whirl anyway. I'm actually somewhat hopeful that this one won't cause any interference based, solely on the fact that these sides really are totally open. Interestingly, the issue, the whole antenna gate thing, was that this little black line right there. Right, when your hand was resting on that, that's what was causing all the issues. Now this case has left that kind of wide open. By the same token, if I'm holding the case, while my hand may sort of touch it, I don't think I'm going to get any death grip effect, because it's mostly the edge of the case that I'm catching. You can see it's sort of raised a little bit. So that's an interesting way of addressing the issue without actually wrapping the whole thing in aluminum the way everyone else has. Let's give speed test a shot here. And I'm actually not getting anything right now. You can see it's looking. Not a good latency number right there, but oof. Now again, my reception down here, as you've seen already in this video, is fairly inconsistent. We're up to 2 bars, but that's a pretty hefty drop in speed so far. It's sort of starting to get up there now. And in fact, while I've got 2 bars, I'm going to go ahead and kill this and restart it. In the interest of trying to give a more fair test, I really want to, sort of simulate the same situation the original test was done under. Unfortunately, I've dropped back to 1 bar now, so I'll just start it and let it run this time. Hold it from the top and bottom to ensure I don't inadvertently death grip it. And I've lost my connection altogether now. Alright, well that's interesting. What I would be curious to see, and I'm sort of hesitant to do it because it does take a little time to take this thing off and on, would be if I took it off now, would I see a better reception result? Just want to show you that right now my phone is 1 bar edge. earlier rather, I was between 1 and 3 bars of 3G. Now, edge I do not typically see, even with my wonky reception. So, just for the sake of doing this right, let's go ahead and take the phone out of the case and see what happens. And then what I'm going to do is cut the video, take this thing upstairs where my reception is just a bit stronger, and we'll give it another go. Still showing 1 bar of edge, still in the case. Well, one thing I'll say for it, it definitely holds the phone securely. I don't feel like it's going to fall out of the case at any point, and it really does give a little heft to it. Even though the case itself is relatively light, it certainly gives the phone a more substantial feel. Now, I just want to point out I've taken it out of the case, and I'm up to 1 bar of 3G. So, I won't definitively say that the case here has hurt my reception, but that certainly seemed like it got a lot better as soon as I took it out. Now, without putting the screws in, I'll just drop her back in and see what happens. And my apologies for doing all that off camera. I know that the conspiracy theorists out there are going to say I'm picking up a different phone, or I have a phone with 3G turned off. Not the case. I haven't screwed it back in. I'm still showing 1 bar of 3G. Let's see if we can't get through a quick speed test. And there it went again. Look. Case is on. And I'm going between 0 and 1 bar. And it's dropped to edge. Well, that's actually a little discouraging. I've done a couple of these now, and the Illuma case actually impacted reception more than any of the other cases that I've seen. But none of these cases have caused my phone to drop to edge. And look, I took it off, 10 seconds later, 2 bars of 3G. I'd say that's fairly telling as far as whether or not this thing will impact reception. Even, again, this is all in a low reception area. I don't want people to think I'm definitely saying the case is a terrible case. It feels like a good case. I would certainly feel that if I dropped my phone, it would survive it in this thing better than the case that I'm currently using even. But that reception drop-off is something of a concern. The fact that it's bad enough to go from 3G to edge. In any event, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video recording. I'm going to take the Exo 6 upstairs, and we'll see if we can't do a speed test in slightly better conditions than what we have now. Maybe we'll do one with Wi-Fi turned on as well, just for giggles. So, be back momentarily.